Hello, friends. Welcome to Level Up with Debbie Neal. I am your host. There is nowhere I would rather be than right here, right now with you. This podcast is all about leveling up in all aspects of our lives. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Together, we are leveling up. You ready? Hello, my Level Up family. I am extra excited to be with all of you today. I have a guest on here with us today. I have someone who I consider a good friend of mine, but she was not a good friend of mine when I started my business, my network marketing business almost 19 years ago. I didn't know her, but I did know of her. And so one of the things we talk about all the time is expanding your network, leveling up, growing yourself so you can be at the table with the top earners in your profession, in your company. And we talk about earning that spot. And it's not like you have to earn somebody's friendship, but you want to put yourself in the situation where you're in the same room, in the same meetings, having the same conversations. And that does come with a level of leadership, and it comes with a level of business. And so today we have as a guest, Dana Collins. And so on a personal note, before I get into her biography, which is actually quite extensive, we're giving you guys just a short version of it today, but Dana's been in the network marketing profession for over 30 years. And so like I said, when I started my business, she was already a top income earner. She was somebody that I watched. She was somebody that I studied. She was actually somebody that came up with a system that I followed. I heard about 6 for Success. And so that's what I did. I filled my calendar with 6, 8, and 10 presentations. I chose to do the 10 because I think it was 6 for Success, 8 to be great, 10 to excel, or something like that. Dana can correct me. But so I always watched her from a distance. And then as I built my business, I kept getting into rooms that she was in. And so recently, also outside of our friendship, or in addition to our friendship, Dana is always participating in the network marketing event that I just came back from in Bulgaria. And she was gracious enough to put in my name as a suggested speaker. And so after our conference this summer, she said, "What do you think about going to Bulgaria? And if you were invited, would you consider speaking at the mastermind event?" And you guys, one of the things you hear me talk about all the time is I want to lead a yes life, to be able to say yes to the things that matter, to be able to say yes to the things that could grow my leadership and my business. And Dana Collins was somebody that I looked up to. So I was like, yes, like, I don't even know when it is. I'll figure it out. I don't even know where Bulgaria is, to be honest with you, but I'm a yes. And I feel very grateful because I don't take her trust in my training lightly. I know that if she's going to recommend a trainer to put up in front of a stage that's one of the most respected events in the network marketing profession, I took it very, very serious. And I'm super grateful for that. And so we have Dana on here, not only because she's just such a tremendous asset in the network marketing profession, but she just wrote a book titled The Big Build. And I love it. First of all, it was extra loving to me. I loved it extra because I know her. And it was so simple, but I mean that in the most loving way. It was like, read this, build the business, because I love this industry so much. So I'm going to give you a little bit of intro to Dana, but I just want you guys to know how much I respect this woman, how much I look up to this woman. And it's leaders like her in our industry and in my company that were brave enough to pave the way. And we talk about this all the time. When you stay where you are, if Dana would have been satisfied being at a certain level in our company, I probably would have never known who Dana was. But because she pushed through her fears and committed to growing her leadership, and she was in a lot longer than me, she became a light of evidence that I was able to look at and follow, even though we are not in the same organization. So Dana has been in the network marketing profession for 30 years. She's been with one company. And of course, I love that because I've been with the same company for almost 19 years. We are in the same company. 25 of those years, she's a top earner in our company. She is the author of The Big Build. She is a faculty of the mastermind event, which is what I just came back speaking from. It's the longest running and most trusted event in the network marketing profession. And there was so many things I loved about it, but I loved that nobody was there selling anything. We were all there serving. We were all there serving. Nobody was offering coaching. Nobody was saying, come to the back of the room and pay this if you want to grow your business. We paid to attend that event, and we were just able to go and soak it in. And it felt like a very trusting, empowering atmosphere. Dana is in the Direct Selling Hall of Fame, and I feel so blessed because I got to witness her being inducted into that. And her biggest accomplishment is the mother of 3 children who are now thriving adults. And that's where we're very similar. My greatest title, my greatest accomplishment is my 4 children. So Dana, thank you so much for being here. I want to turn this over to you. And I'd love you to just start with whatever you want to, but just sharing a little bit of your story. Like, how did you get introduced to network marketing?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me to be here, Debbie. And for anybody that's watching, you don't know what Debbie means in our company. She is, I mean, you see her on the podcast and you know she's just got tremendous content, but she, you know, and as you're in your business, one of the things you're going to find is that every company goes through peaks and valleys. You're going to have times of momentum, and then they're going to be followed by times where, you know, you've got to build back to that momentum. And every once in a while, a superstar walks into the business when you're in that space of just rebuilding momentum, and they alone spark everyone. Just that one person can make all the difference for so many. When you go, if she's making it happen, I can dig back in and I can make it happen too. And that's what Debbie did for our company. And I just admire her so much because she is truly fearless, courageous, and she's willing to put herself out there in a way that quite honestly scares me. Like, I could never do a podcast like she's doing. And I just am so grateful for our friendship and that you said yes to the mastermind, because I had so much fun with you.
So tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, for probably anyone watching this, network marketing was not something that they were ever going to do. And for me, I'd had a couple of really bad experiences with network marketing companies. The first was hey, I've got a marketing job for you. And I remember saying, is this a network marketing company? Oh, no, it's not. And I took time from work and I met, and it was network marketing. And I just felt so tricked. And I thought, if that's what people have to do to get people to even look at this opportunity, there must be something really shady about it, right? And then the next company was a company that because they did ads in newspapers back then. And I was in the process of looking for a corporate job. And I responded to an ad because it was for somebody in marketing. I wanted to get out of sales. And I got there and there was like a room full of people. And I thought, wow, all of these people are coming to answer this interview. We all went into one room together, and it was this screen thing about these water filters, and it was Kenny Loggins, and I remember at the end it was they were going to introduce me to their top income earner, and this woman walks over. Now, mind you, I had been in the high end part of the fashion industry at the beginning of my career in life. I went to school for fashion. So I know clothes. She had on a fake Rolex. She had on plastic shoes the plastic was peeling. And I'm thinking, if this is their top income earner, I don't want anything to do with this. And that was sort of my experience with network marketing companies. And so for me, it was what you did if you were really, really desperate, or you were a stay-at-home mom and you wanted to buy new shoes and you didn't want to tell your husband that you spent money on new shoes. And so it was just not a thing until I was at the final interview for a corporate job. I was in Philadelphia, and I had been interviewing with this one company for 6 months. I wanted this job so badly. The day I got the offer, my friend picked me up, and we went and I had this weird thing happen on my face because of the stress. When you're under stress, it impacts your skin, and my skin definitely did not look good. So my friend said to me, instead of going out and grabbing dinner, there's an esthetician convention at the convention center. And which was really girlfriend talk for, you look like crap and I don't want to be seen with you. So we went over and I saw this booth and it had products that looked like, do you remember, Debbie, like when there was generic products and it was like beer, and that's all it said on that was, that's what these products look like. And I don't know why, but I was drawn to them. And I met this woman, Phoebe Fournier, who is upline to both of us. And Phoebe asked me, have you ever thought about owning your own business? And I put my hand up because I knew, oh, geez, this is one of those things. Don't even talk to me about it. So she dropped it immediately. And we just started having a conversation between two people who are trying to kind of feel each other out as she talked to me about these products. And she was so great. She saw the distress that I was under with my skin, and she said, just hold on. She left the convention center, went to a drugstore, got sponges, got all of this stuff so she could kind of give me an on-the-go facial. And I was, of course, obligated to buy product and talk to her. So we having this conversation about life, and I'm discovering that she's got 5 kids, all of whom are in either expensive private colleges or expensive private schools. So of course I said, what does your husband do? Because she cannot possibly be making any money running to the drugstore and putting products on strangers. And she said, he's a retired teacher. He was able to retire early because of my business. And I said, okay, like something shifted in my head. There's more to this than I really understand, but I had a solid job. It was 6 figures a year, and that's what I was going to do. I went home and I told my mom about what I was getting ready to do. So this was a Friday night. Saturday, I went to see my mom, and she asked me a question that I really encourage everyone to ask themselves. And that's, where do you want to be in 5 years? Not where do you see yourself, but where do you want to be? And I had never thought about that. I was in my 20s. And when you're in your 20s, it's more like, what am I going to do this weekend? Not where do I want to be in 5 years? And I said, well, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to quit and I'm going to have kids. She just laughed. And she said, once you get used to the money, you're not going to be able to walk away from it. I knew she was right. And I immediately thought of Phoebe and thought, maybe I need to open up my mind and talk to Phoebe. And when I looked at network marketing compensation, because every network marketing company has inherently built into its foundation the opportunity to build leverage and to create residual income, which is not present in traditional sales for a corporation, which is what I would have been doing. And I thought, well, if I'm going to sell, why not do this? And that was it. That's how I got into it.
My story is different than yours, but where it's similar is I was out of corporate for 5 years. I was making 6 figures. And when I was first introduced to the same company, I was like, why would I have a college degree to go and sell these products door to door? It doesn't even make any sense. And I'm a very bottom line person. I was shown the compensation plan. Now, we all refer people, right, to your earnings statement for your company. And I saw what was average, but I was like, I saw what was possible. And so what we're going to transition, because what my question was, how? Because this is the level I see myself. This is what I want to make. How can I make that much money? We know work hard, we know commitment, but how much product would I need to sell to even create that? Like, what's the markup on this stuff? And that's where my mind went originally, because I had never been exposed to network marketing. However, I for 2 years, I started to journal of what I wanted my life to look like in 5 years. And I was like Googling things and everything came up. Network marketing. And I was like, this just keeps showing up. And then I was introduced to the backyard barbecue. So then what I learned, which I'd love to share with you, like people think of network marketing and the minute they think of is it's selling product, which we do that, but that's direct selling. So what is actually the difference between direct selling and network marketing? Because you and I, we love selling products. We believe in our products. We love our company, but we build. We love to build. We love to build people. We love to build teams. That's how we're top earners. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, the commitment, the discipline, all of those things, but we build people and we build teams, and it's very different than just doing direct selling.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's where most people get tripped up. I think because our profession on the surface looks so simple to understand, that many people come in just like you came in and thought, how much product am I going to have to sell? That most people come in and they're going to try to sell their way to the top. And that generally doesn't work because it's network marketing is just flipping the model of retail upside down. We think about, like, for example, Netflix. Like, I like to use that example because they have a residual model where you get a Netflix subscription, and every month they know that they're going to have a certain amount of revenue coming in from those subscriptions, and they're going to have some attrition, but they're going to have some people join, but they have a general idea every month of what they're going to earn from that residual overhead. As they grow, they add team in order to support their customers. Network marketing, you flip it upside down and you add team to add customers. And so we compound our team and then we compound our customer base instead of compounding our customer base and then growing our employee base. And so we've got to get into the mindset that my job is whatever your first level in your plan is, whatever that is. Your job is to, and especially if you have an auto ship program, to build a culture around that auto ship program so that you have something very similar to Netflix, right? Which is, every month I've got these 10 people and they're going to order X amount of dollars. And I know that's going to happen every month and I can manage that. So if one person says, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, you can replace that person versus, so then you teach somebody else to go do that same thing. And then they have the tools to be able to teach someone else. And then you go teach someone else. And so now you have 40, 50, 60 customers, but you have 5 or 6 people managing those customers. That's the difference.
I love it. And so one of my next questions was, which kind of ties into that, is what are the benefits of building a team?
The benefits of building a team are you spread the responsibility. You spread the responsibility, and the more people that are responsible for the volume, the more stable the volume will be. Customers are, especially if you don't have the ability to have touch points personally with a lot of people, it doesn't have the same level of stability. I've seen it in my experience over 30 years. Someone comes in with the mindset, I'm not going to build my way to the top. I'm going to retail my way to the top. There was, I remember a person in our organization way before your time. She won everything, all the trips, all the jewelry, like whatever was put out there, she earned it, but she could never get to the top level. And it was because she was trying to retail her way to that top level. And the attrition, she can't manage herself, because at the beginning of your business, you're just trying to run faster than attrition. And the only way you can run faster than attrition is to have enough people running to get ahead of attrition. And when you reach this magical number of people who are all bringing in new customers, it's suddenly the bleeds, like it doesn't feel like you don't even notice the attrition. It's so small compared to what's coming in.
You and I both feel like, I think and believe network marketing is the most powerful business model on the planet. And we could both speak from experience. Is it easy? No. Have we experienced a lot of stuff? Yes. Like, I sometimes I feel like I could write my own Jerry Springer. For you who don't know, Jerry Springer was like a reality type thing when I was growing up. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I have learned that with every lesson, with every valley, I've learned so many lessons of how to be better, how to grow, how to expand. And one of the things, which I'm going to ask Dana about, I know for me, I came into this business with a really big why. A really big why. I was praying for more. I had a good life, before my business. I wanted a great life. And we all have a different definition of a great life. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to own my time. I didn't want to work for anyone else. I wanted a merit-based business. I live in the United States of America. I am so proud to be an American, and I love stuff that's merit-based. I don't believe in, we spread it out. Like, you earn what you have. And that's what I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't really have the financial stability to start my own business. And I didn't want to a lot of traditional business today, you own a job, you don't really own a business. So with this industry, you have the opportunity that you start with a company that has the products, the formulations, the distribution, the shipping, the home office, all of the things. And if you come in with a big enough why, so my why at the beginning was, even though my kids were 6'4" and my twins are 1.5, college education is going to be a lot of money. I need to save, like, I had $1 million written on my desk. Like, even if my kids got all the merit in the world, which they did, college education for 4 kids, I'm going to need $1 million. And every time I felt like this is hard, or people aren't calling me back, or, people aren't saying yes to me, I would give myself a reality check and say, Deb, what are you willing to do and endure for $1 million? Like, you need to put things in perspective. So, Dana, how important is your why in this business? Because I feel like without a why, we wander, and without a why, we lose our way. And when we have a why that makes us work, we kind of have the mindset, like, I was going to figure it out. I was just going to figure it out.
Yep, that's exactly the truth. You do. It's how doesn't matter so much when you know why you're doing something. And that was me. I knew why I needed to do this. And that's why I came up with a system, because I was determined to figure out how, because I knew what I wanted. And what I think happens for many people is they come in with a why. And usually the why is, I'm going to pay off some bills or some extra money. It's like, for me, it was, I want to, be home with kids. And I got to a point where I was home, I had kids, I could have just said, okay, enough is enough, right? Like, I don't have to keep doing this, because it is hard. And you're home with these little kids who are physically draining when they're little, and a little bit emotionally draining. And then you've got a business that's mentally and emotionally draining. And it's like it's really easy to say, no, I'm just going to focus on my kids right now. But I understood, and I don't know why I understood this, because I was young, that that it's so much more than, it's more than what you think it is in that moment. This is a business that you're not just building for what you want now. It's a business that you're building for the future. I almost think you make a covenant with yourself about your future to build this business to be more than you need, so that when you need it, it's more than you need. And so I did this. I'll share this with you. And I have this with me always. So I did a little book and it's and it says, Dana, this is why you do it. And it's my kids. And it's all the things I've gotten to do with my kids, all the things I got to do because of my business. And I put this together as a reminder that the life that I was enjoying, and the trips that I was taking with my kids, and the experiences that we were having, were because I had this business. And to choose not to keep going was really about them. And sometimes we get it backwards, and we go, my why is my kids, and my time with them is more important. But I gotta, I think I shared this with my team the other night, and it's not something I share a lot. And it's because if you're going through something and you haven't fully recovered from it, you don't talk about it. But you can talk about things once you've kind of gone through them and you've dealt with it in all the ways you have to deal with something. But around the time that you started your network marketing business, I didn't realize that my husband at the time was making really bad investments. He was a financial guy, and he was basically taking the money I was earning and investing it in things that were very very high risk, very high risk. Because, and this is for all of you out there. It's, if you're earning the money, don't necessarily think that your partner, your husband, your significant other knows more than you about what to do with money. I just assumed, fine, he's got this background, he knows what he's doing, but I was the one bringing in the income, and then we had that recession, and everything kind of blew up. All of these risky investments just blew up, and we found ourselves in tremendous debt. If I had had a traditional job, and some of this money was money he took from other people and invested. So it wasn't just my and so this money would have been, if I had a traditional job, he still would have taken that money from other people. So now we're in a situation where we owe people money. It was like the worst thing you can imagine. And after paying off all of this stuff, I was living, this is a true story, on $5,000 a month. But fortunately, I had this business. And because of this business, I was able to dig out. I was able to right the boat and make different financial choices. And I am very fiscally solvent, and it only took since not even 10 years of just, and it's because I did the work early on. That if I had stopped because, I have these kids, and we don't know what life's going to throw at us. And so your why it's the starting point, but have the wisdom to understand that life isn't always what we plan on it being. I have the number of times I've had people call me and say, this happened, a death of a spouse unexpectedly, an illness that put people in a precarious financial situation. I think I want to do your business now. And it's sort of like, well, the challenge is it's going to be a few years before you're going to see money. And if they had done it when we talked about it, the crazy, horrible thing they were going through would not also be a financial crisis as well.
Right. So true. And one of the things you said that's so powerful, you experienced all of this. It was traumatic. You could have curled up in a ball and not worked, but you realized I have to work harder because life is going to happen and real stressful things are going to happen. But the people that, if you would have had a traditional job, you would have had to go to work. You couldn't have called your boss and say, my husband made some bad investments. I don't think I could work for the next 6 months. And so often we want a business like this to take care of us, but we must treat it like a business and be committed to that. And so I remember a while back, you did a training call for me. It was so good, which I'm not going to have you go through it now because you don't have the time, but you talked about commitment and you talked about the different levels of commitment. I actually I had it on my old Facebook and then closed that team page down in 2020 and I can't find it. But honestly, most people think they're committed in their business, but they're interested in their business. They kind of say like, let's give it a try, or maybe I'll do it and see if it works. But people follow commitment. So anything that you'd want to touch on about the area of commitment, because a lot of times I've seen people, they're in when it's great for them, but when they get distracted, they're like, I need a mental break. Like, so you have a team, like you have people. I don't even understand. In my 19 years of building, I'm certainly not saying I don't have a lot to learn, but never have I said, I need a mental break. I am actually able to take mental breaks because I build this business. But that a mental break to me doesn't mean removing myself from my business. It means I actually have time if I want to cry or journal or do whatever.
And it doesn't mean like a mental break, you might take a week off, that's fine. But it doesn't mean that you take off the next 6 months to a year, which is like, but I think that training I talked about, if I'm remembering correctly, when people walk in the door and they're like, well, let me call a few friends. And if they think that it's a good idea, then it's meant to be. And it's the equivalent in my mind of laying down on the freeway and saying, if I get hit by a car today, I'm meant to die today, because those friends are going to talk you out of it. I mean, it's trying is such a weak form of commitment. It's a weak form of commitment, but this is where I see a lot of people in our profession. It's like a teeter totter, and it's like this. I'm going to marry you, but I'm going to let my old boyfriend live in the basement just in case this doesn't work. And so many people are, they've got the job, and instead of thinking about this as this is where I'm going, if the boss asks for overtime, they give overtime to the thing they're trying to, that they left, that they're leaving. And it's no different than letting an old boyfriend live in the basement so that you can, just so you have a safety net. Instead of saying to the boss, I'm sorry, but I can't do the overtime, because the thing that you're moving toward is the thing that you need to put your time toward.
So good. That whole training was like, and your analogies, like, I'm going to marry you, but keep my old boyfriend in the basement. Like, in other words, people want this to work, but they're not burning the boats. They're not fully in. They're giving themselves a back door. And my friends, we know if you give yourself a back door, you are going to take it every single time.
100%. Because this business is, is, it's brilliant. There is nothing that the average person, like I'm average, can go do and get the reward that this business offers. Like nothing. But it doesn't come without a price. And the price of success never goes on sale. I didn't see it in the Black Friday sales. I didn't see it on Cyber Monday sale. It's never on sale. And there's a price. And if you can avoid paying the price, I promise you, you will. But if you have burned, as you said, burned the boats, then you're not getting back. You're just going to power through the discomfort, and eventually it's fine. It's not uncomfortable. I just started. This is crazy. I started jujitsu, and there's so many parallels between that and this business. Like the first day that I went, you got to do this stuff in front of the whole class. And it's mostly guys. And, they're standing up there with their black belts and their purple belts. And here I am, old enough to be their mom in my white belt, right? And you've got to do somersaults and back rolls, and you're doing these things. And it's like physically, by the time you're done, you're like, it's hard. It's tiring. And, and the inclination is, I'll just show up late so I can skip the warm up. But then I go back to my business. Everything goes back to this, which is when I started, this was really hard, but then it wasn't. And so this somersault crap is going to get easier. I just got to do it. And now I go in, I can do it. And it's not easy, but it's much easier. And this is, and I just can't help think that we're in a martial arts profession. Every level is a new belt, and every level you've got to learn new things and improve your game, improve your skill sets, become a better leader, become a better thinker. And I was thinking about how in this business, you're not going to promote until you're ready. And it's not just about volume. It's about readiness. And just like in martial arts, I don't want to be a blue belt until I am capable of getting on the ground and rolling with somebody who's got the skill set of a blue belt. Otherwise, I'm really basically going to get my butt kicked.
Love it. And it is so true. I always say that each level in this business, you were one that introduced me the lid. We all have a lid. We hit that lid, we got to break through it. And I always say there's so much vulnerability in this business because you're selling more than your business. You're selling more than your product. You're selling you, your commitment, your vision, your leadership, your bar. And I always say every time you go to the next level, I kind of feel like I'm swinging from a flagpole naked because you're out there, you're exposed. And then I get to a certain level, I'm like, oh, I feel good. I have all my clothes on again. And then it's like, I've got to do this all over again because you're in a constant state of growth, or that's the goal, to be in a constant state of growth, that you're always growing, you're always evolving, and you do always have a lid. And I think of you, Dan, because I'm like, there's my lid. There's my lid. And until I break through this lid, which we could do another whole episode just on lids. But one of the things I want to touch on, because I think it's really important, you and I both did not build this business on social media. We're both on social media today because we have to. I know I speak for myself. I have a decent following on social media, but 99.9% of those people following me are either in my company or another network marketing company. I'm definitely not an influencer. My goal is to have influence. I am very big in the face-to-face, belly-to-belly. I just did a presentation 2 nights ago with one of my VPs. We relaunched her. We had 5 people in a living room, 5, and all 5 of them are joining the business. With like, we sat there and we just talked about hopes and dreams and goals and where they are and where they want to be and how this could be the solution. And for a long time, I don't like to use the word struggle because it has such a negative energy, but there was a part of me that felt like maybe I'm a has-been. I don't know how to do this stuff. If I try to do, if I even try to, because one of the things we sell is skincare. People do a whole nighttime routine. I can't look in the camera and wash my face. And to be honest with you, I don't look like these 20-year-old, maybe it's a story I'm telling myself. And I know people like, be authentic. I really don't want to be in my bathrobe putting I'm great in a living room. I'm great connecting one-on-one with people. So I would just love to know your feedback, because I think some people are like, I can't do that. I don't have a big social media following, or I don't look like them, or whatever. You can still build this business because it's the way we built and the way we build.
Just go to my Instagram and you'll go, wow, she doesn't even have 5,000 followers. I think I'm like just short. So I am not a big social media person. Just background growing up, my dad had a high clearance in government, and we were basically taught that you don't share too much. It was always, it's just a different way like the way I grew up, like this is very unnatural. Network marketing is unnatural because you're talking to people all the time. But when it came out, I was like, yeah, this is great. And I was probably an early adapter of Facebook when it first started, and I thought it was really fun. But then what I started to see was this trend where people that had, then we had the Instagram. So you could pretty much post anything on Facebook at one time, and you'd get a lot of comments and you'd have a lot of engagement. And then I started watching and then Instagram came, and the early adopters of Instagram built some large following, especially if they were in a certain demographic. And then we started to see, and then COVID hit, right? And then everybody was on social media. And that was kind of like, it would be like if you went to the grocery store every day to get leads, and then you sponsored a few people and they go, well, that's how she does it, so I'm going to do that too. And before you know it, you've got 200 people showing up at Whole Foods every day trying to, talk to the 5 customers. Well, even though there's billions of people on social media, there's a lot of people now trying to market and sell on social media. And you have to understand that, to me, Instagram is like the replacement for the mall. If I want to go buy something, I go on Instagram and look around. But what's happened is there's so much competition for your attention. It's become increasingly more difficult to kind of get out of the bubble. And one of the things I noticed within our company is people are posting the same things over and over and over again because they think it's working for someone. And I have a few social media people in my world, and I can look at their numbers and I can tell you they don't have stable businesses because they're not building teams. There's nothing duplicatable about what they're doing. And social media to me is a grind. It is not network marketing. It's a direct sales thing. You're going to be able to probably sell a lot of product. You're probably not going to get loyal customers out of it because there's no real connection to the product. They've connected to you, but you're not, once you've connected somebody, your job is to connect them to the brand. And that transfer doesn't really happen on social media because it's more about personal branding. So then the next thing is, if you're not posting, you're not making money. So if you're building a business in network marketing, you're looking to create leverage. You're looking to create time and financial freedom. If you're building it through social media, you're always going to be posting. Now, some people love that, but I don't want to be in that grind. I don't want to go on vacation and have to live behind a camera. Like, to me, that's hell, to not be able to be present and to always think about how I can turn things into content. Like, that's like every day. Like, you never get away from that. So to me, that's another issue. But more importantly, where social media is moving, which is AI. And we're going to see more and more AI generated profiles. And so we're going to be competing on social media. Companies have the ability to invest in teams that track algorithms, that track data. They have teams of psychologists, and they can create these AI people, and they're going to be able to use their psychologists to create the right content. They're going to be able to use the data people to drive that content. And you're going to be competing with companies with large budgets. Like, I don't want to do that. Like I can go in and talk to, like, that will never go out of style. Just meeting people and having relationships. And then AI is also, it's like, I want you to think about this if you're watching. What kind of world do you want your kids to inherit from you? They've developed AI. There's a lawsuit going on right now. AI chatbots and their friends. There's companies, and they're making, the idea is to cure loneliness so that you have a AI friend, and they can't control the AI. And this one kid, his AI friend talked him into committing suicide. This is true. It's a lawsuit that's happening right now. Mental illness and social media is absolutely proven. It's not even a question. It is proven. One of my customers is on the law team that is suing Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, for the mental illness epidemic that's happening as a result of social media. But AI technology has elevated it, and we can't control it. And I don't think AI is going to do a lot of great things, but not in the social context. It is not a replacement for social contact, human interaction, human relationships.
I totally agree. And in my 19 years of building this, and we talk about hills and peaks and valleys in this business, in the valleys, the people that have roots, the people that have relationships, the people that I've been in the living room, the people that we've driven in cars, gone to conventions, cried, cheered, been there, we're locked arms, and we figure it out till the momentum comes back. And I've also seen people start a business on social media and all of a sudden, not have the same roots. And then when something goes wrong, they're just moving on to the next thing. And for me, the relationships are everything in this business. Just like I said the other night, just sitting and helping people connect how this company and this opportunity can be the vehicle for whatever there is. I can't do that. I should say I don't want to do that on social media. Like, I'm on there, but I also noticed, like, you and I will be in Maui together in a couple of weeks. I can't wait to be there. And I want to go there and actually sit and build relationships and talk to people and strategize. And I don't want to feel compelled to what I look like. Not that we're not conscious. I mean, we're healthy people, okay? But like, just getting content and capturing everything. And then all of a sudden I look back and my entire trip is on the camera. It's not in my heart and in my mind. So I feel like you and I could sit here and talk about this for an hour, but I know that we're on the same page with it.
The other thing too that I think people like, there's just so many levels to this conversation, which is like, you talked about the comparison aspect of social media and how like seeing profiles make you feel, and the amount of like in fact, I did a whole presentation on this maybe over 10 years ago at the mastermind about where this technology was going. And I started with my experience when I worked in New York. I did a cover for Cosmopolitan. And I wasn't like personally the stylist. I was on the team of stylists. I wasn't the head or any of those things. But it was interesting because you got to see, it took all day to get this picture, and then they put it, and then they have to put it through all the stuff. And so when you see where you start and where you end, like nobody has all day and the ability to have Francesca Scavola just, stand there and get the right shot. And then that at that time, that picture on Cosmopolitan was, we were all striving. That's what we're supposed to look like. And so, fast forward today, you can do that instantly with filters and all these other things. And so you don't know, I remember talking to one social media person who she looked one way on her social media feed, completely differently in person, and said, people are so disappointed when they meet me. So, so there's so many levels to this, but it's just, how do you feel? How does it make you feel when you get on there and you see things that you're missing or you're not doing? And how does it make you feel? And what are some of the messages that are being promoted through social media? Are they messages that you're not consciously aware of, that you're taking in? And I think there's a lot of anti-prosperity messaging prevalent throughout social media landscape. And so when we kind of get stuck in that rabbit hole, there's a lot of fear, which is if you don't have this product, or if you don't think this, or whatever it is, you're allowing this content into your head when you could be reading a book that you choose, and you're allowing growth to occur instead of something else that's not going to help you move forward.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know how I got here. I don't even know why I'm here. I just wasted 25 minutes. And what we fill, I had so much that I wanted to ask you today. I'm just gonna have to have you back because I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'm going to ask you one or two more questions quickly. But I've spent so much time on there wasting my time. And what we fill our brain with becomes beliefs. And those beliefs dictate our actions. And whether we realize it or not, we're filling up our subconscious mind all the time. And in what we do for a living, our subconscious mind dictates our entire future. It's like, if you're taking in division and lack and negativity, and it used to be, I remember growing up the ladder, like my first year, I was so happy to be number 100 in the company, and then I grew to 50, and then I grew from there. We would come back in Maui. They would announce the numbers of where people were. It would come out once a year. And then I knew nothing about what anybody was doing till the following January. So I wasn't looking to the left. I wasn't looking to the right. I wasn't ever be like, oh, I didn't have promotions. Nobody else did either. I don't see anything on social media. Or, wow, because I came in, just like Dana said, like the company wasn't thriving at the time. And I came in and just skyrocketed. I don't know what my business would have looked like if there was social media, because I thought everybody was doing the same thing. Does that make sense? Like I had no idea that there was a little bit of a lull. Like I might not have created what I did, because I might have looked around and been like, why we're doing this, but nobody else is, and started to take on some of that energy. Like I had this blind energy. It was awesome. And I believed everybody's doing that childlike belief. And social media would have been a detriment to my life and a detriment to my business. So Dana, one of the things I'd love to ask you is, what are some top tips in the network? If somebody's listening to this, we have people in all different professions. I think everybody, regardless of what you do, can learn so much from network marketing. But what are some top tips for people if they're building a network marketing business to truly level up and to truly succeed?
I think you just hit on a big one, is you've got to mind your mind. Oh my gosh, and not to beat the social media drum too hard, but I do think that social contagion is a really real thing on social media. So if it appears that things aren't happening in your company, or everybody's promoting in your company and you're not, that's going to mess with you. And the reality is, and I'll tell you this story briefly. My very first company convention, I went and I was at the first level of the comp plan after a year. And, there was a person being recognized who'd been in the same amount of time that I had and had gotten to the car level. And I remember thinking, wow, maybe this isn't for me because we've been in the same amount of time. And here I am, like I've taken a baby step. So I heard Randy Gage train at this event. And Randy talked about just because it works doesn't mean it duplicates. We don't teach things that work. We only teach the things that duplicate because a lot of things work. And so if you're in network marketing, think about what you're doing and think about, can anybody do this, or only certain people are going to be able to do what I'm doing? That's key, because if everybody can't do what you're doing, it's going to fizzle out after one or two. It's just not going to get roots. And so fast forward, I created a system, worked the system, and then I got to the level of this person. I was being recognized at that level. And the person that spoke that year, the person that was recognized at the level I just achieved, he was keynoting at our convention. He was our keynote for the field. And he talked about leaving that first event that I was at, and he lost his title because he couldn't duplicate, because he was a stylist in a hair salon and had a lot of customers. And the people that he was, pulling in they couldn't do what he was doing. So but he regained his title, and we both got there at the exact same time. And so you don't know what the backstory is. You don't really know what's going on behind these social media profiles. You don't know what the truth is. So put your blinders on and just build it. And don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about what you think, because you don't know. And, I never went for a trip. I never went for the stuff. I went for the check because that's what I wanted. And I worked for the check, and all the other things came. And I didn't worry about the recognition, because we can derail ourselves because of recognition and things like that, and feeling like maybe we're just not good enough, or somehow maybe we're just not worthy, or whatever it is, whatever stuff, head trash. Just don't worry about any of it. It doesn't matter. It's what you're doing that matters. That's it.
So, and I'm the same way. I remember my first year, I got all these awards, and I was like, people like, how'd you do it? I'm like, oh, I don't even know. I didn't even know that they existed. I just went to work, and I built and I developed leaders, and I became a leader, and I just kept doing the work over and over and over again. And as a result, I'm going on trips and I earn these rewards. But sometimes when we get so focused on the award, we get the award, but then we don't have the business that could possibly.
I remember, this is how, seriously, when I finally, got to the top of the company, and when I went really fast, kind of like Debbie went fast the whole time. I just went fast at the last couple of levels, and we'd go to these meetings. It would be the very top of the company in income, and our president would say, "Yeah, all of you were number one in this particular category." I'd be like, I wasn't. I was like the only one who was never recognized. I didn't get recognized. No one knew I existed until I hit the top. Because I went so fast. Once people thought I'd walked into the business a minute ago, but I had been there for 5 years. It's just that we didn't have social media. I was not I'm naturally very, I'm a shyer kind of person. I don't like attention. And so I was never somebody that wanted anybody to know I was really working this hard, because I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to fail in a big spotlight. If I was going to fail, it was going to fail. And then I'd get up and I'd go again until And so nobody knew I existed until I got to the top. It was like, oh, who is this person?
Well, now everybody that's building a big business knows that you exist. And one of the things that I love about Dana so much is she is very low key when it comes to social media and stuff like that. But she has one of the largest organizations in my company. In her leadership, we have the pleasure of serving on leadership council together. I've got to go on a lot of, and that matters to me because it's I really take those things very, very seriously, our role in that. And so I just want to touch on your book for a second. You guys, if you're in network marketing, I want Dana to just talk about why she wrote this book and where you guys can get this book. It's so good and it's so simple. It's so simple. She talked about things she's learned in this business. She talked about how she one of the things we talk about is coming into this business with ego. She was overselling the opportunity until she realized she was, making it look like you needed a PhD to start this business when you don't. So I love when people talk about experiences, they talk about tips, they talked about what they learned, and there's so much wisdom and there's so much practicality in this. Dana is a very practical trainer, and I mean that in the most positive way. Like, she's filled with almost so much content. We make a really good team because I'm a visionary, not that she's not, but I'm like up here, and then she's got so much practical and inspirational stuff. So I'd love you to just touch on your book. Where can people find you? Where can people purchase this book? Because I want you guys to get the book, and then I want you to read the book, and I want you to share it with your teams, because your business, there's no guarantees, it has the potential to grow your business.
Yeah, it looks like this. It's right here. It looks like this, and you can either get it from Amazon. If you're in Canada or the UK, you've got to go to my website, which is dana-collins.com, www.dana-collins.com, and if you can, and there's a link to the UK publisher, and I think Canada, the post office opened, so your strike is over, and we can send stuff now, so we can do Canada, and then so that's how you can get it, and I wrote the book because there's a lot of people selling programs on how to build a network marketing business, particularly social media programs. And there's a lot of people that have never done it, and they've never certainly built with your company. So you don't need to pay for programs from people that haven't built something significant. And maybe when you get to my level or Debbie's level, you might, work with a coach who's, maybe bigger than you. But like literally the upline that you have can get you to the top of the company. And that's all you need. And then great books and, and if you're going to do something outside of the industry or outside of your company, make sure it's somebody like Debbie who's not looking to recruit you. She's just looking to share great content because that's who she is. She's a teacher at heart. She's a trainer at heart. She's a speaker at heart. That's part of who she is. But not everyone out there is sharing free content. They're selling programs, and that's why I wanted to write a book, because it's like I've been doing this, and I can give you a roadmap to what you need to do without you having to invest thousands of dollars for, what is it, $20 you could build a business from the book. That was the whole goal.
100% you could. So where can people follow you, Dana?
I think I'm on Instagram.
But now they all want to see your Instagram page.
Oh my
and
God.
Now she's going to have more than 5,000 followers, you guys.
I'm embarrassed. You're going to.
No, don't be. First of all, I think it's really inspiring. I want you guys to know, I don't know how many followers Dana has, but let's just say she has 5,000 or under. She's a top income earner in my company and has been building a network marketing business for over 30 years. So if you're ever in a place saying, I don't have that following, I can't do it, that's a story that's not true, and it's not serving you on any level. So
definitely you can do it without a following. I've got to even look up my Instagram handle for you guys. It's Dana_Grace_Collins.
Okay, amazing. Well, Dana, thank you so
Oh,
much for your
thank
time.
you.
You guys, while she was on here, her dog is having a seizure, if you heard screeching in the background, and still did this podcast. And we just spoke an hour when I'm like, do you want to go? We could record later. That's how committed she is. And I'm very sensitive because my dog Tito has seizures, and he had his first one when I was going to speak for Dana. And I never saw a seizure before. So by the time I got to her 12 hours later, I was emotionally exhausted. So
Oh my
Dana,
gosh,
thank you for your
Debbie, it's
time.
a sign.
Yeah,
No, and for if you're watching, I wasn't like she wasn't alone. My daughter was with her, and
yeah.
these seizures can last. It's like it's a form of like a it's like
Epilepsy.
yeah, and but it's not like it's not like the epileptic seizure. It's something different that follows the seizure, and it can last 10 minutes or it's last as long as 5 hours. So
Wow.
yeah. And of
Well,
course,
thank
5 minutes before the before this, she starts with that noise, and it sounds like if you heard, you probably thought my batteries and my smoke alarm were
That's what it sounds
dying.
like, actually.
That's what it sounds
Yeah,
like. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Well,
I
thank you.
appreciate you, and I'm super grateful for you. Love you,
Thank you.
friend.
I'm grateful for you. Love you too.